Welcome back. This is segment 2 of week 11 bonus training on 2 weeks to new coaching income. Super excited to serve y'all. Let's jump back in real quick. So we looked at the mission post. We looked at the honeypot post. There's also what is known as the two-step post, where you're asking, and this is another way of looking at the honeypot post too. You offer something that is juicy and delicious for them, the people who are in your care, and solve the most urgent, painful, specific problem they have with a PDF, training, a resource that they will easily raise their hand for to get for free. So who would like this? Well, I got a lot of people, and I made a lot of money from this post, probably about $10,000. There's so many people here who I ended up selling through conversations and through sales calls. So it can be that simple. Everybody say, it can be that easy. I choose to make this fun and easy. Okay, great. So there are more complicated posts you can use that I choose to share with you just as a noticing. There's the belief shifting post. So I can't afford it. Somebody objects on a sales call, write a post to answer that objection and share it with them when that shows up on the sales call, right? Or refer people to it. That's another way of leveraging your content to make a real difference. Finally, there's the offer post where you display testimonials, screenshots of results. You share your heart. You talk about like what you do and the results you've produced. I helped X person do Y thing in Z time in my new 4-month program where I do this, that, and the other thing. Who is this for? This is for people who have X, Y, and Z. You can pause the video and come back to this to get ideas. And also go to, just search for the I love you post on my personal profile and you'll find this. And then at the end, who is this for? You say, finally, it's currently a such and such investment. Here's the discount. DM me to apply. Here's me and my flow. Here's some results. Here's a testimonial or two. This is a standard thing. You don't want to push out too many posts through organic marketing that are like this. You want to do maybe one in the space of your 2 to 4 weeks. And it works if you have, especially if you have a responsive following. If you don't, we'll get to better strategies soon. You can ask your people, why do you follow me? It's a really great question because it'll show you what value they're most looking for, and you can innovate a product to serve them inside of the pain that they're most dealing with. So these are your organic posting formats for quick cash flow. Next, you want to set a consistent container of action. I said this when I quoted the Get Clients Now stuff, where you just choose to do the right things or a set of things consistently. Then your success is inevitable because we're here on Earth School to play with Earth tools according to Earth rules. Our bodies, our voices, marketing, sales, they're all tools to play this game. So we're getting into the more nitty-gritty strategies. You can go to paid Facebook groups with your ideal client where they've bought programs, small chunk like $97 to $497 programs to support them in solving the problems that you can help them with. Now, this will require you to buy those programs. And why do I feel comfortable about this? It's not parasitical, it's symbiotic. With, let's say, Tony Robbins has a program on how to date better. You buy the program. So many people are either not executing the program, executing but not getting the results, or falling through the cracks and doing nothing once they're added to that group. We're not leveraging the full value of that group. So if you start adding value in the group, answering questions people have, friend requesting people who like and comment and engage with your material, you can build up some people who would be willing to do market research with you. And then the market research looks like, what's your biggest challenge? What's that like for you? What's the impact? How does that feel? As you're asking people like, hey, would you be willing to have a conversation with me to help me help more people like you? And everybody wants to help somebody. So they get on the phone at the end of the call. If it sounds like you can serve and support them, you say, hey, would you like to explore receiving actual help from me with this? Or would you like to know when I launch this program in service of you? They say yes, you say, all right, let's schedule another call, another conversation, or maybe even do it right then if they have the time. So this is a place you can land with people who are inside of paid Facebook groups. And why paid Facebook groups? Because you know they're willing to fucking spend money to have their problem solved. It's not a free group where they're trying to get as much as they can for zero input. So this pre-qualifies the people who are in the groups. You can also, this is an old school strategy. It's trickier, but it works. Last year in the Ultimate Coach Facebook group, I went in and I found friends, I found members of the group who had lots of friends in common. And I friended as many of those as I could find. And then when people showed up onto my personal profile, they saw that post with the who wants to learn how to make 10K in 2 weeks. And invariably, when they first explored my profile, they would see it because it was pinned. So you can use these posts in a similar way with this strategy to have people come your way and raise their hand to receive value from you. Once you offer the lead magnet, you can say, hey, and this is the ideal way to engage with them in Messenger. Hey, this PDF will really support you, or this video or this training or whatever. And you give it to them immediately in Messenger, ideally with a funnel attached, like my funnel. I'll show you my funnel. Surrendered, heartcenteredbusinessmastery.com/get your PDF, where they input their name, their email, and their phone number, and they request to get the PDF now. And once they do that, you've got leverage. You've got their email, so you can continue to follow up with them forever. You've got their phone number, so you can go ahead and call them and do direct market research at random without having to wait on them to respond in Facebook Messenger. You can do all kinds of things through this that you can't if you're just hustle and grind. So going back to the training, because we're almost done here. Yeah. So I talked about this, market research calls. My client Austin created his first high ticket coaching client through just doing 10 to 20 market research calls, where he asked the questions that I just shared, asked them at the end if you'd like more like this, more help. And especially if you don't have clarity on who you're serving, but you're wanting to make high ticket income, this is the way to go. It works really well. You can create a workshop, sell the workshop on your socials, or a free masterclass like we did with Money Magic Alignment, or like we've done many times with Make Love Easy, or like my client Gianni has done in the past. And at those workshops, you make a simple offer. Anybody who wants help with this or to receive more support in this realm, I'm offering free calls to help you get what you need. And you sell them on the call at the free masterclass. They get on the call, you make an offer. Real simple, based on listening deeply to them. It can be that simple, and you can fill a workshop with 20 to 50 people in a week if you know where to look, looking in paid Facebook groups, looking in your warm market for market research calls. I've done this many times. I even have trainings on how to do this, my Own Your Invitations course. Next, this is something you can do live or on any form of social media, with anybody who comments on any of your posts, anybody who engages with anything you have to offer. Connect, invite, create, propose. And The Prosperous Coach is a great book. Highly recommend it. So connect. Go to places where you can find people you can serve or who you enjoy connecting with. Listen for how you can make a difference for them. And at the appropriate moment, if and when it makes sense, invite them into a deeper conversation or a container where you can make that difference. Create a powerful experience of coaching. And at the end of that, propose to them a larger container if it feels right and would support them into their highest expression in relation to this area of life. Super simple, y'all. Connect, invite, create, propose. And the consistent container of action would be to use any of these pathways, choose one of these pathways that feels most alive or inspiring to you, and do it for 2 to 4 weeks. I guarantee you results will happen if you're creating from a space of clarity around your niche, enthusiasm and inspiration, faith, and willingness to do whatever it takes. We're going to get to that in a second too. Another strategy you can use is outreach, direct outreach. Everyone and anyone you know in your what we call sphere of influence or your warm market who knows, likes, and trusts you, who's potentially willing to receive from you, go ahead and call them up and ask them, who do you know who might have this problem? And it might be them, but asking who do you know skirts the ego, like wanting to hide out and be unauthentic and drag its feet. And so it might be them, it might be someone you know, and they might have a referral for you. So what outreach is doing is you're shaking the tree of possibilities to see what falls loose in terms of leads. Now, 2 weeks to new coaching income proper. This is the final portion of the training. Who this is best used by? This is best used by high ticket coaches who've sold high ticket before. How not to use this? Well, to climb up out of red level and then sink back down to it over and over again without the full infrastructure built out of Speak Powerfully Now, of the Coaching Business Mastery Code. Don't use this as your only strategy or tool or technique or channel for having income and revenue in your business forever. Again, this is best used by someone who has a clear premium offer that they've sold before. Could it be used by someone who has not sold a premium offer before? Sure, absolutely. You could use all the strategies that I just gave you once you've chosen your niche and the specific, urgent, painful problem you solve with your unique skill set. And you could just say, here's my target. In 2 to 4 weeks, I will find this person. And I'm living in the feeling of my wish fulfilled, which we're about to talk about. So let's play the income game. For me, if I wanted one paid in full, high ticket coaching client at $5,000 by the 15th, which is a week and a half from now, I know that my current conversion rate is 20% per 10 calls. So what I would need to do is make at least 5 calls and propose at 10 to 3K, right? If I made 5 calls, proposing at 10 to 3K, because I have 10K program, 5K, 3K, and then other products that I can sell that are sort of a fallback position, then I know that what I need to do is make 5 calls per week. Actually, in this case, it's like 3 calls per week because I've got almost a week and a half. And then what does it take to create those calls? Well, outreach. So this document is something you can make for yourself or request it from me, and I'll share this. You can make a copy, fill it out yourself. Input your goal, be aware of your conversion rate, multiply. If your conversion rate is 20% for 10 calls, then in order for me to convert one $5,000 client, I need 5 calls. Does that make sense to you? If you have trouble with the math, I'm going to lead you through it. So 20% of 10 calls means I'm selling on 2 of those 10 calls. If my conversion rate is 20% for 5 calls, then I'm going to sell it on at least 1 of those calls. So for me, it's a better deal. Like, it's more likely if I make 10 calls, but I could probably do it in 5 if they're the right high qualified leads, right? And how do I create those? Well, I could shake my warm market and do outreach. So that's the income game. So now you know how to structure the numbers in your orientation to a promotion plan at red level. Then take exquisitely delicious care of yourself, because you're the transmitter and receiver of energy, frequency, and vibration that is priming yourself to create what it is that you desire to receive. So if you take extraordinary care of yourself, you'll be open for manifestation to work even better and skilled at using Feel Free to Prosper, for example. If you're in that work, buy that book, do that work. I highly recommend it if you haven't yet. And stand in the feeling of your wish fulfilled for at least 10 minutes a day, receiving that result of that high ticket client sold. Allowing and receiving yourself to and giving yourself permission to enjoy that end result in your imagination. What that does is it calls on the will of heaven, reshapes your self-image to become and do the things that would be likely to produce that result. And it also activates the power of magic. It is your money magic alignment in action. Do it right before bed, right after waking, when the subconscious is most pliable and open to receiving. You become what you focus on most of the time. So pick your financial goal, focus on it most of the time. And as you move towards it, you can even make a chart where you're tracking your progress over time and imagine the numbers going up on that chart. What's worked for you in the past? We'll look at and look for a list of things that you've done from these things that you could do, right? This whole list. There may be some things, like if I were talking to Gianni, I'd say, just do this again. Workshops to enrollment calls. And inside the Wealth Dynamics Accelerator container, there is the wisdom process that you can use. What is the wisdom process? It has you connect the identity of your future self who already has the results, who already has the achievement. Ask and interview them to get the answer for what to do next. And let intuition guide you in what you choose from your list. Let intuition guide you through the wisdom process. We've already talked about setting aside a consistent container of time and effort and remaining rigorously disciplined inside of that. Do your duty and what do you call it? Do your duty and it's going to take me a second to remember this. Anyway, long story short, do your duty is a way of getting from infrared to red and staying there. Why? Because you're making this endeavor, cash flow, the primary, central, and most important focus for action, manifestation, and life for a certain duration of time. And I'm going to give you a great example of when this happened last year in September. I was down to maybe a couple $100 in my bank account. And I said, all right, I'm going to do it. That's it, period. This is the first, only, primary, best, and most important place to put my attention and action and the commitment of my manifestation. And I had the virtue of already being a successful entrepreneur. Like I had nothing else on my calendar. I could clean out or clear out or let go of everything that wasn't self-care, standing in the feeling of my wish fulfilled, and creating a promotion to draw in new income. And it just so happened within 24 hours, a connection call that was already on my calendar, a follow-up call with somebody who'd come to one of my events 6 months before, turned into me making an offer and them buying $6,000 worth of coaching from me, which I vetted on PayPal. I checked, and the $6,000 came in on the 19th of September. So it was within 24 hours. That's how quickly your decision can work. Decision is cutting off from all other options. I'm going to do it. That's it, period. Whatever's necessary to bring it about, it's done, and I'm going to do it. And not from a place of pain and suffering or exasperation or exhaustion, but from a place of inspiration and enthusiasm, from a place of receiving and willingness. So that's it, really. Go kick ass on your sales calls, use the lighthouse method, follow up and follow through until they buy or die, which is part of why this was successful. This story I just told you is I kept following up with them. And that's a bit more advanced of a strategy. Technically, the manifestation came from the decision in concert with the structure I had set up to receive and capture the lead and then nurture the lead over time. Last thing for me to say, sales cycles for high ticket coaching can go from 1 week to 3 to 4 months. That one that I just mentioned was more like 3 to 4 months, which is why you don't just want to do this as a single one-off promotion plan over the course of 2 to 4 weeks once in your business, make 10 grand and sit back and do nothing. You want to turn on the habit of doing the two of lead generation every day, 5 to 6 days a week in your business until you've built this whole infrastructure and a storm drain of orange to yellow level through the brand triad, the value ladder, your core offer, building out your network, JVing, all sorts of things. That's it. I love y'all. Hopefully you've had so much fun in receiving this. I've had so much fun in creating it. God bless and have a beautiful and amazing life. Godspeed and God luck.